Hello, and thank you for downloading How I Vegan podcast. I'm Matthew.
And I'm Wes.
In this episode, we had a great chat with Greg. He told us all about his band and taught us what egg banjo means.
Yeah, who doesn't love an egg banjo?
Well, neither of us knew what that was until he explained it to us. But once he did explain it, it did make perfect sense.
Yes. It does sound a bit odd, but it's really not.
Okay, before we get to that though, we're going to take a look at some feedback that we've had for some of our previous episodes. We'll call this section the slap on the back section. So I'm going to start off with this one who says, it's like listening to marathon talk, but for vegans. Production quality is getting better. I'm going to assume marathon talk is a running podcast or chocolate bar podcast.
A chocolate bar
obsolete chocolate bars podcast. That's pretty niche. I thought ours was niche, but obsolete chocolate bars podcast. Production quality is getting better. If you could change the intro bit where I think it's Wes that says pervy perfect vegans or something like that, I would not have to smirk so much.
Brilliant. Is that why you chose that one? Thanks for that.
Yeah, that's exactly why I chose it, because it made me laugh out loud.
I hate the way I stumble over things, and I stumble in
the best part was I really tried to edit that bit, but I just could not get it. I could not get the first bit away from the perfect bit, so it just sounded like it did sound like pervy perfect vegans, which not far off.
Brilliant. Maybe that's why we've got listeners in Costa Rica.
Maybe, yes. Oh, yes, and thank you to our listeners in Costa Rica and Chile. I've got to say, we weren't expecting, but we're very happy that you're here.
Yes. This is from another one of your vegan runner friends. I listened to episode 1 today. Well done. It was great, like sitting down and chatting with your mates. I also love hearing the stories behind why people went vegan. You even managed to shout out to vegan runners. And she just finishes off, looking forward to listening to the rest. I hope you are still listening to the rest.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that, because I have some further feedback from the same person who says, listen to episode 4 today. My favourite so far. What a lovely lad Josh is.
Oh, my God.
Which is good. I'll be off to Costa tomorrow in search of that cheesecake, which was one of Josh's favourite vegan products, wasn't it?
Yes. I'm trying to think, Biscoff, wasn't it? Biscoff cheesecake.
Yes, exactly.
I haven't got a name on this one, so I can just go with it. That's fine. I won't try and not say it. I've listened to the first 3 so far. I love podcasts while at work. I've enjoyed them because they've just been normal vegans having a chat rather than interviewing celebs. Happy days. She didn't say that, I said that. So more like sitting down and having a cuppa with some vegan friends, which we've missed during COVID. It reminds me a little of the Bad Boy Running podcast, but a couple of vegans having a chat about topical vegan stuff, etc. I like the everyday vegan format. Keep doing what you're doing.
No, love it. That's really great. And one more from...
Is this going to slag me off again? Have I said something else inappropriate?
No, absolutely not. Hold on. We didn't get any feedback from your slating of Christians, all Christians.
Of which I do apologise to all Christians.
And that has been our most popular episode. So I've got one more bit of feedback to read, which is amazingly, I believe, from our listener in Germany. One listener in Germany, and they've taken time to send us a message to say, great podcast, guys, keep up the good work.
Oh, wow.
So thank you very much for that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm really, really happy with that. Lovely. Yeah. We are truly a global brand.
Well,
we're like,
yeah.
People will be saying like Apple, Coca-Cola, Google, How I Vegan podcast.
Yeah.
That's probably your top four global brands. So how's your week been, Wes? We recorded, oh no, I'll tell you what, we recorded with Chloe 2 weeks ago, and then we recorded with Greg as well. So how have you been in the intervening time? Because we live probably 200 miles away, so we didn't get to see each other much.
Yeah, I've not been too bad. It's all good. Yeah. I actually listened to Chloe's. which is the first listen for me. First listen
Yes.
to my voice over a prolonged period of time. I don't know how anybody listens to it, but whatever. So yeah, yeah, we're quite good.
Oh wow! I mean, reading out the feedback is backslapping enough, but we're quite good. Is really pushing it.
Yeah, no, this week's been good. This week's been good. I'm plodding through life as we all do.
Yeah, one day at a time.
Yourself, you've been up to much?
Yes, much the same. But I've been reading some of Earthling Ed's book. I'm about 3/4 of the way through it now.
Wicked.
And I've been trying to make note of sections that I read that I really like, because I'm terrible for reading factual books, in that I'll read it, I'll enjoy it, I can't remember anything about it.
No.
Except that I have enjoyed it. So one of my favorite books of all time is the Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay.
I've read it maybe 3 or 4, 5 times.
Wow.
I could not tell you one quote from the book.
Oh.
So I've been I've gone full technological on this, and I've been taking screenshots. Well, I've got the actual physical book, and I've just been photographing the page and then highlighting the bit on the picture of the sections that I like. So yes, that's been my activities this week. It's been good. I'm just gonna have a look through and see if there's any that I can find that are...
Whereas people used to like put post-it notes or little sticky labels in pages, you're just
yeah.
and highlighted. Loving it.
That's exactly it.
I still haven't got you. I haven't got to them books to you. Have I? The Rutger Bregman book.
Oh, what's that?
Humankind and Utopia for Realists. You will love them. They're amazing.
Okay, awesome. I'm going to read you this excerpt. This is from, I think, the introduction or chapter 1. It's estimated that globally around 220 million land animals are killed for food every day. And when you factor in marine animals, that number increases to somewhere between 2.4 and 6.3 billion every single day. That means that somewhere between 28,000 and 73,000 animals are killed every second.
Madness, isn't it?
How can we do that? It just blows my mind. Absolutely obscene. So far, so I haven't finished it, but so far I would highly recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a very good book.
Well, that might just make us all very angry.
There is quite a lot of that. And chapter 2, I think, he says, you may not want to read this section because it's about very detailed descriptions of how animals go from being alive to not being alive.
Right. Okay.
The slaughter process, and it's pretty grim. Grim is the word. Yes.
Yeah.
But I get why he's written it, because the book isn't just for vegans, it's for people who may be vegan curious, and they just need that sort of prod to realize just how horrible it is, despite the fact that you've got companies called Happy Eggs, or with smiling cows on the label and stuff like that. There is actually a very gruesome background to it.
Like Coach Joey Carp's with another one, hasn't he? He's gone into a local in inverted commas farm to show what's going on behind the scenes, and there's this the owner of the farm saying, yes, we treat our animals with respect and all the usual nonsense, and then the son's out the back punching this cow in the face, and the cow is incredible. The cow, they put the gun in front of the cow, and the cow moves it, literally budges, and that with his nose, he moves it out.
Wow.
It's incredible to see it. And then the guy walks up to it, picks the gun up, and basically just verbally abuses the cow. You think you're gonna get away with that? Pistol whips it and stuff. You think what? And your mum's currently outside telling everyone how respectful you are.
How great it is.
Yeah, whatever.
Terrible.
My local farm down the road. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Does my head in.
Well, one of the other things he mentions is the fact that people always say, "Oh yeah, only source local meat,"
Yeah.
And all that. But that doesn't account for the feed. Most of the feed comes from, where the Amazon rainforest used to be.
Yeah.
It's such a falsehood, really. The local farm.
Yeah. So yeah.
Oh dear. Should we crack on with the episode?
Crack on with the episode, yeah.
For new listeners, if you're brand new, then welcome and thank you. Really, we're just here to have a bit of a chat with a fellow vegan. We're definitely not here to preach, and we're definitely never going to tell you you're not vegan enough.
No, because we're not. Because we're not vegan enough. Never.
We're not pervy perfect vegans.
We're not pervy perfect vegans.
And we're not perfect vegans. But if you want to get involved, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search for How I Vegan Podcast. And Wes, are you on email?
I am.
You simply have to be these days. If you are, you can send your comments, queries, and feedback to us at howiveganpodcast@gmail.com.
Oh, thank goodness you told me that. I'm on it now.
Okay, so here we go. Do you know what? Every week I think I'm going to write a really proper introduction, and then this will make you feel really good, Greg. I never quite get around to it, so I'll try and wing it.
I would have thought.
So,
as an esteemed guest on the show, you would have gone to some special effort, but fine.
Our guest this episode is a musician, a runner, a member of Vegan Runners, because all the vegans I know are vegan runners. So our guest this episode is Greg.
Hello. Yeah, excited to be here. The world famous How I Vegan podcast. Fantastic.
Yes. Thanks for coming on, Greg. I think world famous might be stretching it. Well, famous is stretching it, to be honest.
Well, here's a podcast.
Well, yes. I mean, we're not even household names in our own houses. But never mind. Thank you very much for coming on. I know you're a very busy man, because I texted you at the weekend and you said, I've just finished one gig and I'm on my way to a second one.
Yeah.
So that's some go in that. So before we get into the vegan stuff, tell us about the bands. I know you're in more than one band, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I've been playing since I was a teenager, and I'm always in more than one band. I mean, the one I'm busiest with is a local band called Pure Genius. We do weddings, parties, bar mitzvahs, funerals, that kind of thing, dog marriages, whatever. So we're really busy with that. There's a big backlog from lockdown, so we're trying to catch up with that. So last week we did 6 gigs in 6 days, I think.
Wow.
On top of the day job. So yeah,
and
then you got to try and fit some running in as well, because I keep signing up for running events, which is just madness, but it happens.
You just can't help yourself.
Yeah.
Yes, Pure Genius. I'd say locally famous. You've done a few of the town shows and village fairs and stuff like that.
Yeah. We've been going over 20 years. So
wow.
we're probably one of the most well-known bands doing that kind of stuff in this area. Super busy. That's my part-time job. I've been we built it as a business. Floyd, the keyboard player, and I started it as a business, and we've built it over the years. So we're busier than ever. It's as I get older and the gear gets heavier, we get more and more gigs. Yeah.
Excellent.
You are officially our most famous guest so far.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think it says more about the podcast than it does me. No, that's great. Yeah.
That's fun. So one of your other bands, you were saying, you've got an album coming out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. So I like to do some original music as well. So in a band with the Reeds, called the Reeds, and we're just about to release our third album, which was mainly recorded during lockdown up here in my attic, the man cave.
Yep.
I've just sealed off the hatch so no intruders can come in.
Excellent.
So that's coming out in a couple of weeks, and we're doing a gig at the Cavern Club in a couple of weeks as well, which is a big kind of lifetime ambition for me, really. My dad saw the Beatles in the original Cavern Club, so I'm hoping he'll be able to make it and see me play in the kind of reconstituted Cavern Club, which would be a big moment, really.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So what type of music can we expect from the Reeds in this album?
So the Reeds is like guitar based, melodic, like rock and pop, but it's kind of like a bit of indie, Beatles, bit of Radiohead in there, maybe a bit of REM, a bit alternative in places. It's kind of, there's three of us and we all write, so it's a total mishmash of our different influences,
Nice.
But it's really fulfilling, writing a whole album, recording it, putting it out, just entirely off your own back, ridiculous amount of work. So I mean, in some ways it's a massive relief just to see the back of it.
I bet the
relationship.
I'm assuming the admin side of it must be pretty onerous.
Yeah,
when you're touring and releasing it, because it's obviously all copyrighted if it's all your own stuff and all that sort of thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, from my perspective, I do all the recording and the production, so the other guys come and record with me, and that takes long enough. And then they go away, and then I've got like hundreds of hours to put in trying to piece it all together. So
wow.
I sit at this desk, burning the midnight oil, basically trying to make something that sounds half decent.
Wow, that's the same sort of feelings as our editing team. They feel the same sort of way.
Yeah, I could tell by your production values that it's got that kind of Abbey Road sound.
What, as if it was recorded out on the road?
On the crossroad, on the zebra crossing. Yeah.
It's coming out on Bandcamp, isn't it? The Reeds, is that right?
Yeah, all good outlets. It'll be on Spotify, Apple Music, all the usual places. So
okay.
We don't do real physical things anymore.
No, I can't remember the last CD.
No. Our first album came out on CD, but that was the last thing we've ever done in the physical realm.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Onto the vegan stuff then. What's your vegan story?
I guess like the seeds of it were sown back in the 80s. So my brother, I've got three younger brothers, and they all kind of figure in my story really of running and veganism. But the next brother down from me, he was only like 10 or 11 or something, and he gave up eating meat when he was, I don't know, it's like in the mid 80s, which was pretty unusual for a young lad, at a time when it was meat and two veg basically. And so so it became like a thing, in our household. So, it's something that we talked about because it was, we were around, we used to actually sit at a dinner table and eat meals like in the olden days, So it was kind of a thing, it kind of got me thinking. I mean, I was only a young teenager. And then we kind of got to kind of the late 80s, and I went to college, and my friends, we were all kind of pretty alternative and a bit weird and everything. And, some of our friends were listening to the Smiths, and obviously they had that album Meat is Murder. Some of my friends probably thought it was cool to go vegetarian just to annoy their parents and, cause a fuss at home at meal times, So that kind of became a thing. And then my best mate went vegetarian, and I kind of thought, well, we had pets and stuff, and I thought, well, I like animals. I probably don't really want to eat them. So I just went vegetarian when I was like 17. I think the thing that's the switch that turned me over was like eating a McDonald's hamburger and just thinking that's the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And that was it. And then just an absolute full stop on the meat then from the age of 17. So that was it. So then I was vegetarian for 30 years. But, you know, I did have like the thought that, you know, animal lives were valuable. You know, I always maintained that their lives were as valuable as ours. You know, if we didn't have a right to eat them. So kind of looking back, you know, my motivations were, you know, my heart was in the right place, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And which is, you know, you get a lot of debate from vegans, and vegetarians often get lambasted, but I think it's really unfair because, you know, they're potentially tomorrow's vegans, you know, just with the right information. But anyway, yeah, so that went on, and you know, 30 years vegetarian. And then I guess, you know, the rise of social media and just having more information available to you on a daily basis, probably, you know, videos popping up, finding out more about, you know, how eggs are produced and all that kind of stuff. I wasn't like willfully burying my head in the sand, but I'd been a bit lazy and not sought out the information about this stuff. So that just like became available. And, you know, being a very kind of logical thinker, it's just kind of like, well, now I have all this evidence, you know, this is my moral standpoint, and now I've got all this evidence to tell me that I should be doing something different. So I just kind of thought, well, that's it, you know, I've reached a point where the balance has been tipped, you know, and I know what I should be doing. And kind of another brother came into the equation as well, because my youngest brother, Damien, went vegan before I did. So probably, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago, with his partner. And that, again, that gets you thinking, you know, gets the wheels in motion. And then, yeah, 3.5 years ago, I think I went fully vegan. And it was overnight, you know, a lot of people just kind of say, well, I cut out milk and I cut out cheese or whatever. And that's totally fine. But I'm very much like a black and white thinker. It's like, well, I either am going to be vegan or I'm not going to be vegan. And I think I chose January the 1st as the day, you know. I always try and do something, you know, it's usually lose weight, but I just went vegan overnight 3.5 years ago. So it was like, it wasn't like an emotional decision. It was just purely based on logic and facts, and I had the evidence, just did it, you know. I didn't regret it at all. After about 2 to 3 months, I was like in the groove, and that was it. Yeah. I won't ever go back.
Fantastic.
So what was the hardest thing for you as you made that transition from veggie to veganism?
Well, I used to eat a lot of eggs. You know, eggs was kind of like a staple for me. The egg banjo was my, you know, I used to survive on the egg banjo. You know, like a banjo sandwich.
Is that code?
What's that?
What's an egg banjo?
Right. Okay.
Is that code?
For the uninitiated, so an egg banjo is like you make a fried egg sandwich, right? And you bite into it, and the yolk like spills down your front, as it always does. Then you hold the sandwich off to the side, and then like wipe it off your front. So it looks like you're playing the banjo.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, good again.
So all my clothes like had bits of yolk down the front. So. So I was probably like a one a day man on the banjos, but yeah, it didn't take long to get over that, to be honest. I mean, since that, the thing that's really caught up with me is my eyesight. You know, I've reached that kind of stage of my life where I need glasses quite a bit to read, and you know, ingredients are written so small on packets and tins. It's like I'm like in the supermarket and what is this? It's like got a chance. But apart from that, not an awful lot. I mean, there's a band thing, I guess, because we play quite a few gigs where people provide food. Occasionally, you know, I might get offered something vegan, but more often than not, it's like, you know, some dry, curled up sandwiches, non-vegan sandwiches. So, you know, food's pretty much off the menu, like at gigs now. But I just have to eat properly before I leave. That's all.
Can you're not quite famous enough to have a rider then before you perform?
To be fair, if they ask, we will put a request in, and some of them do come up.
Okay.
Yeah, it does happen.
That's good.
You know,
Vegan sandwiches and 3,000 yellow M&Ms.
Yeah, I mean, you know, a bowl of chips is fine. You know, if that's what I end up with. You know?
That's it. We've had a lot of conversations where the only vegan option's been chips.
Yeah, it's the old salad and chips thing. Yeah.
There's worse meals to be had, aren't there? What did your friends and family think about it then when you went vegan?
Well, I mean, I think, you know, judging by what I read online, you know, I've been very lucky because, you know, my friends and family have been just super cool about everything, really. I mean, my wife and son still eat meat. They eat like chicken, a little bit of fish, but not an awful lot. But they're totally great, you know, interested, you know, engaged, you know, we talk about it. You know, my wife's Irish and it's just in her DNA, you know, what she eats, it's like inescapable, you know. But you know, they've been great, and they eat lots of food. I'm the main cook in the house, so they do eat a lot of vegan meals. And sometimes, you know, there's basically no difference. You know, I might put vegan mince in a pasta dish, or you know,
you can't tell, can you?
I've got no idea, you know. And it's like, well, why are you eating this stuff anyway? So no, they're great. And then my like extended family, like my brothers, like one's vegetarian, one's vegan. My mum, who's like in her 70s, is basically vegan now, and only recently. So she would have become vegetarian maybe 10-15 years ago, and now she's cut out milk. So it's amazing if you can do it, like, you know, in your 70s. It's never too late.
No.
Yeah,
that's right.
Friends are all great, you know, but I mean, I'm not one to like preach at anyone, so you know, I'll only talk about it if they ask.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You haven't got a thing on the front of your bass drum that says vegan drummer or anything like that?
No, I occasionally wear a vegan t-shirt, kind of like, but you know, waiting to spark a conversation, but no one asked me about it, so you know, it's fine.
Well, I was like that. I thought I won't preach to people, and if you want to talk to me, I'll talk to you. And now I'm like, if you want to talk to me, you're going to get all barrels. So,
yeah, you're getting it all.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the nice thing about this podcast, because no one ever asked me about it. So it's like therapy.
So there you go. This is all your time. This is just for you.
This is it. And honestly, I found this really useful. We've done this is our 7th, I think, and I found this really great just talking to other vegans, because you know we've met a few times, Greg, but it's always been at parkrun, hasn't it? So it's always been a kind of a maybe 10 or 15 minute chat before or after. Yeah, and barely able to breathe. I hope that was the noise you were making, Wes. And
I forgot this is an audio platform.
It's not that type of podcast. But you only get a really sort of fleeting conversation, don't you? So even the episode that we did with Paul, and I've run with Paul loads, and we talked more about being vegan during our episode than we have any of the times that we've been out running, mainly because we can't hardly breathe, but also you don't have that sort of freedom and that sort of space to do it, do you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So the big important vegan question, Greg, where do you get your protein from?
Well, I mean, as you can see, I'm basically able to stand and wither in a way, and I'm basically at death's door here. So yeah, I mean, it's a classic question, is it? Because you know, non-vegans will always ask you that. Where do you get your protein? Where do you get your nutrients? You know, surely, you know, it's not healthy and all the rest of it. And really, I've paid almost no attention to that, like ever. I mean, I went like 30 years vegetarian without ever taking a multivitamin. And now, having been vegan, I occasionally take the Vegan Society multivitamin if I remember, but then I'll forget for like 2 months. I've never had any ill effects. I mean, you know, your breakfast cereals are fortified with vitamins and minerals. You eat a decent variety of food. It's not really something you need to worry about. trouble is, you know, most meat eaters eat very limited diets, and they're probably way more nutritionally deficient than I am, at least. I mean, it's just it's kind of a non-issue for me, and it really always has been. You know, with protein, the thing about protein is, I mean, you become more aware of it when you're exercising, when you become a runner and that, you read articles and stuff, but most foods have got protein in, and unless you're like a world champion bodybuilder, you don't even need to supplement that, because your diet's got plenty in for everyone.
Yeah. It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a great attitude. And especially you say about meat eaters, most people don't have any idea how much protein they're getting. Just because they eat meat, it doesn't mean it's the right meat or a decent amount at all, does it? It's just one of those things they like to bash us over the head with.
That's it. Yeah. And becoming vegan, you think, well, I want to be careful with my health, so you research these things, and you know, you realize this, that like most people are probably deficient in some area because they eat quite a limited diet.
Absolutely.
Thinking about what you're eating is like really important. So, and being vegan has forced me to do that. I have a real appreciation for food now, which I didn't have before.
Yeah, I think even the hardest of meat eaters don't actually know where most of their nutrients are coming from, do they?
Yeah.
So why do they suddenly jump on the bandwagon when you tell them you're vegan? It's just I don't get it.
Well, it'll be the first thing will be like, what about B12? And it's like, well, that comes from the soil. So where are you getting yours? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Since you went vegan, then how have things changed for you?
Yeah, well, the food thing. So I just used to eat whatever came to hand, really. When I was vegetarian, I was like junk food vegetarian. It would be like veggie burgers and veggie sausages, and I didn't really think about it an awful lot. But looking back now, I realize I didn't really appreciate my food very much. So going vegan, it's like I just started searching for vegan recipes and stuff, started cooking, and it just got some good results. And I thought, this is great. You know, we got like making some really nice stuff, got a real enthusiasm for it. So now I'm like batch cooking, freezing stuff, doing like, there's some that's like staple dishes that I make that I can't be without in the freezer. It'd be like barbecue beans with like mushrooms in, and it'd be like African peanut stew, and like some soups and stuff. And it's like I start getting nervous when I'm down to my last one. They're so good, it's like addictive. It's like, I almost don't like going out to it, because it's like, I know I can get a better meal at home. So that's been really cool, connecting with food, really.
Yes. Yeah, I'll go along with that. My wife makes a fantastic curry, to the extent that we've got 2 really nice Indian takeaways in our little town, and when we have our monthly takeaway night, we don't bother with the curry anymore, because why would you pay for it when you can make it at home for like a fraction of the cost, and you know what's in it, exactly what's in it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I made a jalfrezi the other day, and it was like so rich and tomatoey, and when I was done, I had like 6 portions of it. It's like, yes, this is what we're talking about.
You say about back cooking, we don't get to get the back cooking in this house, because we tend to eat it all. Like, is there any more in the pot? There's a little bit. Yes. Do you want a bit more? Yes. It's all done.
Yeah, I don't portion it up it sits on the side and then cools. But yeah, like often my wife will come in and like one of them will be gone. It's like, great, good on you.
So have you got what advice would you give anyone who came to you wanting to make the transition to veganism?
So I mean, I think the thing is just like being supportive. Like, I've seen like people go vegan in so many different ways and for so many different reasons, and it doesn't matter if your starting point is just like cutting out meat on one day, or cutting out dairy, or whatever it is. Whatever that first step is, you're making a difference. It's individuals who make a difference. It's not like governments, or it's not like out of your hands. You're not too small to make a difference. It doesn't matter what you're doing. you're doing the right thing for the right reason.
Yeah.
Hopefully, eventually you get there to veganism. That's great. But, you know, it's all about encouraging people. I'm not one of these confrontational people. I'm not like one of these activists who runs to McDonald's throwing blood everywhere or whatever it is. It's like, for me, that's not the way to win the argument. You know, make good food and share it with people. That's the way. You know, wear your vegan runner's top and show people that you're not, you know, about to fade away, you know. That's my activism. Yeah, I mean, in these days, it's so easy. You walk around a supermarket and it's like everywhere you look, there's just great food. You could eat a different meal every day for a year without a problem, you know. So there's so much good stuff out there. Now's the time if you're going to do it. And when I first became vegetarian, there was like one type of veggie burger, and it was just like a mixture of like carrots and rice or something. You know what I mean? It's like things have changed so much.
Yeah, massively. My dad went vegetarian when I was about, I think it was about 11, I think. And yeah, some of the stuff that he ate back then, I mean, that's 30 some years ago. And yeah, similar time to you, I guess, Greg. And yeah, some of the stuff that he had then, I was like, why would you put yourself through this?
This is pre-Linda McCartney. I mean, these are dark times.
Yeah. I remember with the first time we had the Linda McCartney sausages, and we were like, I ate meat at the time, and I was like, yeah, these are all right.
Yeah.
But up until then, no chance.
Yeah. Linda McCartney changed my life. Yeah.
Excellent. And so did her husband, I assume.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huge Beatles fan. Yeah.
It's a family affair.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. What's the best thing about being vegan?
The best thing about being vegan. So, I mean, the best thing about it is just like not knowing, the feeling of knowing that I'm not a fraud, you know, that I'm not living not in accordance with my moral values. Because if you know something's not right and you carry on doing it, then even if you bury it, it's still there in your subconscious. So you do get a sense of, well, for me anyway, I get a sense of inner peace, that I'm at least living in a way that's, you know, in accordance with what I really believe.
Yeah.
That's massive for me. You know, I think nothing tastes better than that, you know. It's like, that's really important, and it's important in all other aspects of my life. It's not just about veganism, but it's about just knowing that you're following the path that you're meant to be following.
Are you saying nothing tastes as good as vegan feels?
Well, not my words, but I'll take that. Yeah.
to paraphrase Kate Moss.
Oh right, Kate Moss, was it? Okay.
She said nothing tastes as good as skinny feels. And that just came to me as you were talking about how you're living your life, knowing that you're not a fraud and you're following your morals, and so nothing can taste as good as that, can it? Nothing can be as good as that. Yeah.
I mean, the Kate Moss quote doesn't have quite the same kind of gravity, but I mean, I'll never know what it feels to be skinny either. But
no. I'm a long way past that.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, I mean, for like, you know, a moment of, in inverted commas, pleasure. I mean, it's not pleasure to me anymore, but you know, a bacon sandwich is the example most people would give you. Compared to just like, you know, not being a hypocrite, it doesn't compare in any way. So that's the thing. So yeah, I just feel like.
So Greg, who is your vegan inspiration?
Well, I guess, I mean, you know, a lot of vegans would like say it was some like high profile activist like Earthling Ed or, you know, Joey Carbstrong or someone. But for me, rather soppily, it's my youngest brother.
Cool.
So like, well, all of my brothers actually are inspiration to me in one way or another. My brother Kieran kind of helped me turn vegetarian. My middle brother Aidan inspired me to take up running, which I'm forever grateful for. He basically said, "Are you going to do this half marathon?" And I'm like, but I'm like fat and unhealthy. But I didn't want to be outdone, so I did it anyway. And my youngest brother Damien, he's and his partner Robin, they went vegan like, I don't know, like as I say, maybe 7 years ago. Didn't even mention it. They just were vegan, and they decided to start a business. So they bought a horse box and kind of set up a little food truck and went to festivals selling like wraps and burgers and things, which I thought was really cool. You know, I was kind of finding out more about that. And obviously, you know, it set the wheels in motion with me thinking about veganism again. And they were really successful. They did lots of like food shows and stuff. They're selling out everywhere they went. So eventually they moved into like kind of like a box park in Manchester, at Hatch, you know, selling vegan street food. They'd be doing like Philly cheese steaks and like ribs and wings and burgers and, you know, just all the good stuff really.
Where's that then?
That's in Hatch in Manchester. So if you look it up, it's like a pretty famous. It's kind of like shipping containers with like units in like hip clothing and food outlets and stuff. So they did that. Then last year they opened a restaurant as well in Manchester, in Withington. So they've now got a restaurant called Herbivorous, selling the same kind of stuff, but that also serves as a kitchen as well. So they've expanded their unit at Hatch. So that's now like one of the biggest ones that there is there. Wow. So they've got these 2 locations, and it's just doing brilliantly well. They're like big on sustainability, which is like really cool. They do like seitan making workshops, which is really awesome as well. So they fill the restaurant with people making, you know, fake meats, which is great. And they're just like really awesome, you know, just really kind, brilliant people, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, they're my vegan inspiration.
Yeah. Next time you come up, that's where we go in the social media as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, mention my name, you get a discount at least.
Oh, even better. So you mentioned the place at Hatch. What's the name of that one? Is that Herbivorous as well?
Herbivorous. Yeah, that's
Herbivorous.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, they started out as Herbivorous and they've all got that name now. Yeah.
What's your favorite vegan product at the moment?
So, I mean, the pretty run of the mill, really. I mean, you know, there's like staples like Oatly Barista. You know, that goes in all my hot drinks. I can't really do without that. If I put soya milk in a tea or something, I'll always split, and it's like my day's ruined. So it's got to be Oatly Barista, really.
Yes, I'm 100% behind you with that. I remember when we first went, my wife was vegan shortly before me, and she has soya milk in her tea. I don't drink tea, I drink coffee, and I put it in coffee, and I was like, what is that floating in my coffee? It was absolutely foul.
Yeah.
And I've never had it since. But I'd rather have black coffee than have coffee with soy milk in it.
Yeah, on the odd occasion I'll run out and then like I'll put some normal soy. Really, the thing to do is if you heat the soy milk first, like in the microwave, and then add it to the drink, that helps a lot. But even then it might split. So I'm like, I've got a spoon in it, I'm like stirring it and then drinking straight away.
Oh,
But you know, when hard times, you know, before me, that's what I'll be doing. But usually I'll buy Oatly Barista in bulk, so I don't run out. I mean, apart from that, I like some pretty fast foody stuff from the supermarkets. The Chicago Town stuffed crust, bacon and mushroom pizza.
All over that. Yeah.
Boom. Yeah. That is proper. It's like the dough is not cooked, so it actually cooks in the oven. So it's like a proper pizza. That is good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm all over that. And there's like these spicy chicken burgers you get in Aldi, and they've got like it's kind of like batter on the outside, quite unusual.
Yeah.
They're thick and chunky. They're great for barbecue. I'm eating lots of them at the minute. But it's barbecue season is upon us.
It's closing in, isn't it? Definitely, yeah. I could smell a few over the weekend.
Yeah. And then I mean chickpeas, the king of the cupboard.
Classic.
It goes in everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Make some hummus occasionally as well. That's good.
Oh, make your own hummus.
Yeah, dead easy.
I've never tried that. Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's dead easy, like 5 minutes, and you can experiment with putting different flavors in it. Throw some sun-dried tomatoes in, or some chili or sweet chili sauce or whatever. It's great.
Nice. Okay, you've inspired me there. I'm going to give that a go. Fantastic. Okay, before we go, tell us about the running then. So we met through Vegan Runners.
Yeah.
So were you were a runner before you were vegan, or the other way around?
Yeah. So as I was saying, my middle brother challenged me to run the Liverpool half marathon in 2009. Okay. And I was like, I'd gone like 10 years without barely breaking into a sweat. I was not sporty in any way at that point. I had when I've been younger, but I just let myself go, really, frankly. So, and when a younger brother challenges you at something, you don't, you have to hear the call. It's like, well, I'm not going to let you get away with this. The old fella's got a bit of life in him. So, did that for charity. Did a few runs for charity, but I just carried it on. I just really enjoyed it. I love the feeling. Once the first few weeks and months are really hard when you start running. Once you get over that initial thing, then you can get into this zone where it's quite zen and you're quite in the moment. I really like that. Sometimes if I'm on my own, I zone out listening to an album, just because I don't get peace at home to listen to a whole album. So that's a good thing. And events are great as well. You sign up to an event, tell everyone you're going to do it, and then it's like, you're like tricking your future self into doing something you didn't really want to do. So
because I only do mainly like 10Ks or half marathons. I've done a couple, but you do the proper hardcore stuff.
Well, I have done. Yeah, I've signed up for my third and fourth marathons. My third marathon will be the day before my half century of landmark birthday, which is October. So I may not make it to 50. So
well, if you're going to go with a smile.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And I've done one ultra, but I mean, that was so painful.
That was that last year? I think you were training for that when I saw you at parkruns one time.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of mess because of COVID and stuff and things moving around. But I did that with my brother, actually the one who inspired me to take up running. We did that together. Great experience, but I challenge anyone to enjoy the last few stages of a run like that.
How far was that one? Because ultras anything past 26 miles.
Yeah, I mean, if there's any ultra runners that listen to this, they'll just think, I'm a lightweight. But it was 35. It was 35 miles, which is anything over a marathon is considered an ultra. But I mean, 35 miles. And the thing about this one was it was the Shires and Spires run, which is local. It goes from Naseby, but it's just like hill after hill. It's absolutely brutal. And worse still, there's not much guidance on the course. I have zero map reading skills, so it's like you get lost multiple times as well, and it just makes the whole thing worse. It's like
it's even further.
I just ran a mile. I didn't have to.
Oh wow!
It was actually just a half marathon, but you ended up doing an ultra.
Yeah, well, well, you say that. I did a fell run with with a brother. It was in like Derbyshire in the peaks, and it was called the Ring of Hell. And I'm always kind of like blasé about these things. Yeah, like it'll be fine. I'd signed up for a 10K. It'll be absolutely fine. Set off on this 10K. It's like just straight up a mountain, basically. You look like you're running, but you're going slower than walking pace. So so you get to the top, and you go along a bit, and then you go up another peak, and then there was a bit where you're like climbing up a waterfall, and you're just like clambering up rocks. It's basically rock climbing. So this is all part of this run. And then some like disgruntled local had removed all the markers. So basically everyone got lost. And then I was like on the top of these peaks, we're in cloud cover, so you can't see anything. The rain is hammering down. All your clothes are stuck to you. I ignored all the advice about taking a waterproof jacket and a snack with me because I thought I said 10k, I'll just knock this out, no bother. Everyone got lost. I hooked up this one poor girl, and we're trying to find out where we're going. Phone's not working. Eventually, we hooked up with some other people. Ended up doing like 19k or something.
Oh my God!
And it took like 5 hours or something. But there were points where you're like going down slopes that are so steep, like covered in heather, and it's basically controlled falling, and you think, my foot goes through this heather cover, at any point my ankle could snap. And I've got visions of the helicopters coming in, the embarrassing news piece, all of that.
Yeah, look at this idiot, didn't even have a waterproof jacket.
Exactly, yeah. People offering me their jacket and like their snacks. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm like, shivering, I'm gonna die.
Oh my God.
Look at this idiot. He ain't got a waterproof jacket and he's vegan. Look at him wasting.
Yeah, that's it. Well, look at this one. We've got one here.
Brilliant. So a 5k park run then is like nothing to you? Just
well, it depends when you catch me. If it's after I had a couple of pints, then not necessarily.
Not so much.
Yeah. That's the thing. Dragging yourself out of bed when you got in at like 2 o'clock in the morning is a challenge. Yes. I don't always succeed in that challenge.
No, I've got a very loose relationship with park run. I think if they made it at 10 a.m, I'd go to a lot more than I do.
It would make a massive difference, yeah.
But 9 a.m. on a Saturday is not my idea of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I like to check in every now and again.
Yeah, that's it. Every now and again.
Yeah,
that's it. In complete contrast to your Peak District run, I did a 10k in Huntingdon on Sunday.
Oh yeah, I saw the pictures.
I think the elevation gain was about 3 inches. That was it. It was like you run around, you can just see like the curvature of the earth because it's so flat. There's just nothing in between you and the edge of the world.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's great. I read about a marathon in Spain where it's a marathon, but you start like really high and the whole thing is downhill.
Oh, I'm all for that.
But it also like is an official run. It's eligible for like world records and stuff. But it's like a gentle downhill for the whole marathon. Now, like if you're ever going to do a marathon, that's the one.
You could get some of those trainers the kids have with the wheels in the bottom. You wouldn't even know you were doing it, would you? You just set yourself off.
Questions will be asked when you do it in an hour.
How have you done it so quickly? I'm vegan.
Yeah. Plant power.
Wind power.
And wheels. Okay, I think that's all our questions,
I think it is.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks. I really enjoyed that.
Thanks ever so much, Greg.
No one ever asked me about veganism.
There you go.
Well, we have, and both our listeners will get to hear it.
The one in America and the one in Europe.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Thank you for coming, Greg. It's been a pleasure meeting you.
Likewise. Yeah. Nice to meet you.
Thanks a lot, Greg.
Thanks for listening, guys. Thanks to Greg for being our guest. I hope you've enjoyed it and you found something useful. If you want to get involved, you can find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search for How I Vegan Podcast. Have you got email, Matthew?
I have. What should I do with it?
Well, what you can do, if you want any comments, queries, or feedback, you can just email us at howiveganpodcast@gmail.com.